Hey everybody, how's it going out there in quarantine land? I'm Matt,
And I'm Eldana.
and you're watching Quarantine with Comics. So what's going on today?
Nothing much. I cleaned my room again.
You did? That's all you do is clean your room. All the time. And you sometimes clean Abigail's room.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to. Oof.
Oof.
Alright, so we're here today. It is, what's today's date?
March, April, May, June, July. It's May? No, August? No.
April. Yeah.
April?
Does anybody know what day it is?
I think it's the 17th.
It's a Saturday, I know that. Is this our fifth show?
It's either 17th or the 18th. I don't remember.
Is this our producer is telling us that it's the 18th? Okay. Is this our fifth show? I think it is.
I think.
Yeah. So we've been in the house for 5 weeks. I've been out of the house once, literally one time in 5 weeks.
I don't think last time I went out was with Mom, but like that was like when the quarantine was like
first starting.
Yeah. So,
that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and like I never went out in general a lot, so.
Holy spagoli.
Crazy.
That's true. If I wasn't going to work, I usually didn't go out much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in case you don't know, on this show we read comic books. We pick comic books out and we read them on Saturday, usually morning, most of us. And then we film a show and do a little review. So we're going to review a few comic books here. There will be spoilers. So if you don't want to know what's going on with these comic books, you might want to turn the video off. There probably aren't very many people that watch this that actually read comic books, though. It's mostly our friends and family, which is fine. But I don't think they're reading comic books. So I think we're safe. But if you do read comic books, just know that we're going to talk about things that are happening. I'm going to go first, if that's okay. All right, so my first comic book for our 5th episode of Quarantine with Comics is Wonder Woman number 752. This is a great cover. It's one of the variant covers, and let me see. I'm trying to see. I'll have to find out who does. This is one of my favorite cover artists. And what's her name? Jenna something? I'll find out and I'll let you know. I'll tag her in the video. Anyway, this is Wonder Woman number 752. So it's not often that I read superhero comics. I have a couple in here this week, but I really like this comic book. It was pretty good. So what's happening is Wonder Woman is in Boston, and out of nowhere, this knight shows up, and her name is she's called the Iron Maiden, and her name is Valda, the Iron Maiden. And so what happens is she was fighting this metallic beast, but you're not sure what that is until the very end. And all of a sudden she like transported to Boston, current times. She was in a different time in a different place before, and all of a sudden she found herself in Boston, and so she's causing chaos, and Wonder Woman's like, we gotta get you out of here so you don't cause a whole bunch of chaos in downtown Boston. So that is what pretty much the main storyline is of this comic book. But there's also another part of the story that is happening where we see characters from Wonder Woman's past, and this woman is from the von Gunther family line, and they have been at war with the Amazons, which Wonder Woman is an Amazon. They've been at war with them for a long, long, long time. So there is some discussion right at the end of a plan. We're not sure exactly what the plan is yet for her to get revenge on the Amazons by through Wonder Woman. So that's going on, and then once Wonder Woman talks the Iron Maiden into working with her and settling down, then they start to work together. We finally see at the very end the metallic beast that she was battling. Check that out. And so now Wonder Woman and the Iron Maiden are working together to fight this Iron Beast. And we can see that that's the very last page of the comic book. And we'll have to find out in the next issue what happens. So that's my first comic. Oh, here's our first of two special guests today. This is Sonia Bobolini, or Bobo, or what else do we call her? Sonia. Yeah. So she just wanted to say hi. She's as sweet as can be. We're gonna have another special guest later, and we'll introduce you to her in just a bit. Eliana, you are up.
Okay, so my comic book is Over the Garden Wall. It's number 13. Pretty much it's about this, like, teacher, and she gets, like, this notification, like, this message that, like, she has, like, to have, like, an advisory thing. And so she's like, oh shoot, we have to get all the kids, because apparently like it snowed, so like none of the kids had to go to work, like to school, and so she didn't know what to do, so she just gathered all the kids saying, hey, let's go to school. It's like it's snowing. I think it was a weekend. I don't know what was happening, but yeah. So all the kids went to school. She ordered them what to do, and she was like, you do this and you do that, and like, like you make cookies, stuff like that. And
Wow.
so then, yeah, that was crazy. And then, like, once they did that, everything just all spotless already, like, spotless, and so it was, like, ready to, like, be eaten. And so then she, like, tells these people, like, these, like, a raccoon and this possum thing, that they have to go on a walk, because I guess they're, like, the misbehaved kids. And so they do that for, like, until, like, the evening. And then the people come. And they have to be like, oh, like, they have, like, she's trying to act, like, very proper, like, oh, like, we, like, let me take, like, like, the kids take your coats, and, like, let us just pretty much tell you what we do. And they're, the whole time, like, the advisory people, like, are complaining, and they're like, oh, I don't think that this is right, like, the desk is, like, it's too squeaky, and, like, she gets really nervous. And then, to make her even more, like, nervous and upset, the two people, like, the possum and, like, the raccoon come back with a frog. Which is not, I don't think that was what she was expecting, but she, like, she continues, and she doesn't know what to do. And she, like, they hear, like, the frog, and so this person asks if the frog can, like, participate in the class as if it was a student. And so the frog gets so happy, and it just grabs this little chalk, and then it's like, it says, write down these words, and so the frog does, which I think was really fun.
Nice.
And then she gets really confused because it doesn't say, like, animal, like, because, like, school doesn't say anything about animals. It's like a normal school. And then she finds out that they were at the wrong school the whole time, and it wasn't for animals. And she just got so mad after that. So I feel bad for a teacher because she just could have slept on all day, but at least it's gonna be a good story to tell to future classes.
That's true. Okay. My next comic is Hidden Society number 2. I did a review a few shows back, or a couple shows back, on the first Hidden Society. This is a new comic out by Dark Horse. And if you remember the first comic book, they were assembling a team for some kind of special mission, and we weren't sure what that mission was going to be. So the team is together, and then we get some background information. So apparently, a long, long time ago, the world was a much different place, and there was a lot of magic and mysticism that was happening. And these mystics accidentally awoken this egg. It caused this egg to crack that ended up being the nest of what they call the Great Fire. And it was a dark force that was released as the result of these wizards and mystics of the time messing with magic that they didn't fully understand. And so the Great Fire almost completely destroyed everything. And there were a few mystics back, or that survived, and they were able to contain the Great Fire and put it back where it came from. And our main wizard from the Hidden Society, Allure, he was part of those. He was just a boy when all that happened. And so that was the start of the Hidden Society. And their job was to make sure that dark forces didn't take over the world again in the future. And so they used magic to prevent that and help, like, keep the world safe from evil forces. So then we come across these 3 characters, and they are the siblings of Nile, and they are nihilists. And so what they did, they're bad, and they want to bring about the end of the world. And so they um, whispered in the ears of all of the wizards, except for our wizard that's gathered all the people together. They whispered emptiness into their ears, and they went complete. They like kind of turned into zombies. They weren't able to think anymore, and so they are trying to stop the Hidden Society from. They want to bring about. They want to awaken the Great Fire again and bring about the destruction of the world. So the Hidden Society is trying to stop them from doing that. And so the group of people, our team, our Hidden Society, they're gathering in Italy. And we're not sure, again, what the overall plan is, but the siblings of Now find them. And they're able to kidnap the head wizard Allure. And it becomes clear that the young boy is going to be the key to everything, and he's going to have to be the one to save the world. So we are left with we're not at the end of it. We're not sure what the plan is going to be, but the leader of the Hidden Society has been captured, and the rest of the team is not sure what to do next. And so that's where we stand with Hidden Society number 2. I'm not sure with the quarantine whether Hidden Society number 3 has been released yet. They put a hold on all the publications of new comics and shipments of new comics. So we haven't had any new comics for about a month that have been released. So I can't remember if number 3 actually got out before all that happened. If it did, I'll get a copy and we'll carry on with the next one. But if not, we'll have to wait until the quarantine's over. So that's my second one. Do you want to go?
This is Chewbacca. second one. And when you open it, you get like you know in like the Star Wars movies, there's like yeah, that. Okay, and so you get that like in reading form, which I think is so cool because I always like doing that, but my mom doesn't because she doesn't like spoilers. Anyway, so this one, if you watched back at last week's, I did the first one of the Chewbacca series, and so pretty much the Chewie agrees to help like the girl with like you know getting all the people who are like underground like in the mines like out of the situation, and so like you know Chewie's just I love Chewie, but you know like the thing is like the plan is she has to get captured again in order to like get in order to get there because you know she has to get caught and like get back down where her dad and all the other workers are, and then Chewie has to climb down that little hole like that. He doesn't like that. He just doesn't like it, and because it reminds him of what like all these things like all these like memories, and so then he can't do it, and so then he gets out, and he gets kind of mad, and then he thinks about doing it again. While that's happening, you know, like she finds, you know, family, and they're trying to get out of the of the mine and everything, and then like they're talking like you have to stay here, but then you see Chewie right there, like upside down. Baby. It's like Baby Yoda in like the ship scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Baby Yoda. Don't get me started. Anyway, so this is hey, like you made it, like yes I did, pretty much. And then this is Chewie. Never seen really this side of Chewie before, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. But it's like you know he's like you know pew. Okay, and then so then after that they get out, and then you know he has to like fight and everything. But while that's happening, and I don't like this person because they said they don't like Wookiees, and I don't know anyone who doesn't like a Wookiee. But you know, like he has to fight people, and then there's like people they just don't like Wookiees. So they're like, you have to put an end to this. If you see a Wookiee, you have to kill him. And I guess like I'm like, who would want to kill like a little Wookiee? They're so small. Not really, but they just feel so small. And then everything just goes kaboom.
Holy moly! Kaboom!
But you don't know. That might not be. You know. There's definitely probably more.
All right, very good. So, how many do you have left to review?
2.
2. Okay, I'm going to do one more, and then we'll bring on our special guest. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next one that I have is Spider-Woman, number 1. This is a highly anticipated comic that came out. There was a lot of hype. There were a lot of covers of all the different comic books that had Spider-Woman on them, and like a Wolverine cover had there was a variant with Spider-Woman. There's several Spider-Woman comics that have different covers. This is the one that I picked out. I wasn't sure what to think. I thought the cover looked great, but I wasn't sure whether the storyline would be any good. Because a lot of times when things are all hyped up like that, you like read it and it's a little disappointing. So I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a great storyline, and I thought it read well. It was smooth. The artwork's fantastic. At no point was I confused as to who was talking or what was happening. I think they did a really good job. So this is Spider-Woman. Is her real name is Jessica Drew, and she's been having a hard time lately. She is pretty much broke. So she has to take a job doing like not security but protecting. Like she's hired to protect this girl. There's this super rich guy who is throwing a birthday party for his daughter, and like they're like billionaires, you know what I mean? And so she's been having a lot of threats of kidnapping, and so they hire Spider Woman to protect her during this big birthday party. The birthday party's on this yacht, and here's Marty. Here's another special guest, Marty. Say hello to Marty, everybody. Marty is a surprise special guest. He's not the actual special guest, but he's a surprise special guest. He's a good boy. Anyway, so she's hired to protect this kid, and she's like, "What am I doing?" Like during the birthday party, she was like, "This stinks." There are all these like little bratty kids, and they're all dressed up like superhero heroes, and they're getting on her nerves, and they're really obnoxious. And like the girl gets a car for a gift, and they're on a yacht, and it's just she's like, "What am I doing here?" And then all of a sudden, chaos breaks out because there are people who really are trying to kidnap this little girl, and Spider Woman just kicks everybody's butt. Like, takes out several people, takes down a helicopter. I mean, it is total chaos. She, like, destroys everything in her path, and it's really cool. I mean, it's awesome. And so it kind of ends there. There's another like little portion of a comic after the main storyline that shows some scenes that happened prior to this story, and that's where you find out that she's essentially broke, and she has to take on jobs that she doesn't necessarily want to take on because being a superhero doesn't pay, you know. And so unless you're a millionaire to begin with, like Iron Man or Batman or somebody, then you really don't have any money. So that's where we're at with Spider Woman. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but I thought it was pretty good. Let me see. Oh, at the very end of it, she gets really sick. She's been feeling very sick the whole time. She has a massive headache. She's not feeling well. And there's this disgusting scene where she throws up everywhere at the very end of the big fight, which is pretty gross. But it's pretty cool. So this is her taking down the helicopter, which is really cool. But I really, really liked this, and I was surprised that I liked it so well. So we'll see where it goes. Okay, the time has come for our special guest. So our first special guest was Abigail, and then our second special guest was Mom, and then Abigail was a special guest again. And so we are excited to have the night owl herself, the girl who stays up till dawn and sleeps till 5. My oldest daughter and your sister, Eldana Smith. Hello, Eldana.
Hey,
How are you today?
tired.
So, yeah, she's tired. It's about 5 o'clock, and Eldana's just getting up.
Good morning.
So, anyway, guys might not know, but Eldana is a TikTok sensation. She does videos that get like 30,000 likes and all that sort of stuff. So if she actually does a shout out to us, we might get a couple more followers. I don't know.
You want me to give you a shout out?
We might get more subscriptions than our 15 that we have already.
I'll shout you out. I'll make a whole.
Anyway, so you read a comic book, right? And you're going to do a review. So how are you? What's going on with you before we get into it?
I'm good.
What's new during the quarantine?
I found these 2 necklaces.
You found 2 necklaces?
Yeah.
With E's on them?
Well, one is with an E. The other one is just a chain. I took off the thing that was on it because I didn't like it.
What was
That's
it?
exciting.
This was actually, I think you guys gave this to me.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do your review?
Okay. Mine is kind of a soft comic. Because I love the Archie series. And so it's literally the Archies. The cover is great. Very intriguing. Makes you want to read it. And so I did. And then, okay. So, it's called the Archies because Archie and Jughead and Betty and Veronica and Reggie are all in a band and they're just starting up. And at first they're like, oh yeah, we're all in it. But then they sound awful. They don't have that many songs. Their equipment is falling apart. Everybody's like, this sucks. I don't want to do it anymore.
I've been in bands like that.
Yeah. It was pretty...
What?
I was saying yeah to you. I was saying yeah, like...
Say.
It was our band.
Okay. Carry on.
Okay.
Carry on. The show must go on.
And so... One night, everybody's like, forget it. Everybody forgets about it except Jughead and Archie. And so, to cheer him up, Jughead takes him to a show, which Jughead just wants to get for the onion rings, because he's always hungry, like me. I can relate. And so, Archie's like, wow, this is a real band. Like, everybody loves them. They know their songs. And he gets inspired. He's like, we have to get this band back together. We need new equipment, blah, blah, blah. And, so they all, like, pitching together behind Archie's back and get new equipment and check it out. A van.
Wow.
For their band. And then I've read, and it's a series, so I've read the next couple books, and it just keeps getting better.
Cool. Maybe you can review those ones next time.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a van Matt Usel used to drive.
Does he still have it?
No, I don't think so. He's
Because I like those vans.
maybe he does.
No, I don't.
Think so.
No, I don't. I like the hippie ones.
The hippie ones. Okay. Anything else going on in your world these days besides sleep?
This shirt has motorcycles all the way around the shirt.
Wow.
Found it in a thrift store.
Cool. We didn't even talk about our shirts today.
Mine's with my 5th grade from field day shirt.
Wow. Okay. Well, mine is my favorite. I've worn this before on the show, I'm
You
sure.
have to rewrite the word fun on it because it just says field day.
It just says field day. It's not a fun field day.
No, I don't know what
So this is my glow-in-the-dark Flatwoods Monsters Monster shirt. Monster from Flatwoods, West Virginia. It's exciting.
Yeah. I remember when you went.
Yeah. It's very exciting. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by. We're going to carry on now, and we will see you again soon. I'm kind of starstruck, Eliana. I'm kind of starstruck from the TikTok superstar that we just had on the show.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to go next here. And the next one that I have is the one I've been waiting for, Midnight Vista, number 5, which is the conclusion to this series. It was a 5-issue series. And just to give you a refresher, I think I did number 1 a while ago. This is number 5. We're going to skip the other ones, but I'll give you the basic idea. So this is about a boy and his stepfather, and they get abducted by aliens, which is right up my alley. I love that kind of stuff. And so what happens is the boy, they're gone for a long time. They're like with the aliens for a long time. And then all of a sudden the boy like returns and he's just walking like naked down the road. And they're like, "You have been missing for years. Like, what is going on?" They thought he was like kidnapped or murdered or something like that. And so then they think he's crazy. And so all of a sudden there's these two super creepy guys that show up. They're essentially men in black. And you get the impression that they're not quite human. And they're kind of funny, but they're after this kid. And I don't know if they want him dead, but they like kill people that get in their way from them getting a hold of this kid. So they're not that good. They're not like good guys for sure. Anyway, so they're chasing him the whole time. He escapes with the help of his mother, and he winds up in Los Angeles, California. And she tells him to get in touch with this guy. And he does, and he has he claims that he was abducted as well at some point in his life. And he has started this like cult. Where's Abigail? Abigail should hear this because we've just been talking about the Heaven's Gate cult. And I can't believe it. When I read this morning, I was like, oh my goodness. Abigail's got to see this. This is crazy. We were just talking about this. So he has this alien cult. And the guy believes essentially that they need to get back to the aliens. And you find out, like, near the very end, that his idea is that he is going to go with the aliens, and all of the people that he has surrounded himself with that are supposed to have been abductees, they are going to have to die, and he's going to have to take on their souls, and that's how they're all going to get to the aliens. So it's crazy. Like, at some point, you're like, oh no, this is not good. This guy's crazy. This is going to turn out badly. So it does turn out badly for most everybody, except for the boy who has been on the run this whole time. And to be honest with you, wait, I got to share one funny part. So those men in black that I was talking about, they show up at the very end in a helicopter, and they're trying to get this boy. And so this is the kind of stuff that they do that makes you think that it makes it obvious that they're not humans. They say, so they're talking like on like a big speaker to the people that are on this roof of this cult building, and they're like, "This is the human police. We have you surrounded. Take your hands off and place them on the ground. All we want is Oliver to give us." Anyway, so they're like, "This is the human police," and they're like, "You have until the count of 10, or we will open fire. 10, 9, 6, square, 5, 4." And so it's obvious that they're not human at all, but they're pretending to be human.
That's funny.
Yes. So the bad thing about Midnight Vista is I love this whole series. The writing's okay. I love the idea behind it. And I really enjoyed it because I'm really into this sort of stuff. I thought it was a great series. But this is the second series like this that I've read and I got to the very last page of the last comic, and I was left with this feeling of like, what? Like, what just happened? This is weird. I'm not sure, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to reread it again, I think. But at the end, I was just like kind of disappointed with the very end, like the very last page. It's like, I'm not even really sure what they're trying to say is happening. But anyway, he's trying to escape. And so he runs and jumps off the side of the building. And the actual one guy that was trying to help him, this detective, he's like, no, don't, you're going to die. And so he jumps, and then all of a sudden, this bird flies up. And you realize that that's the boy. That's Oliver, who's abducted. Now, sometimes the aliens will take the form of creatures like this so they're not so scary, the people. So you're like, okay, did he die and this is his form now to go with the aliens? Was he an alien? Like, is this a different, if I don't, like, it's like, what the heck is going on here? You know what I mean?
Adorable.
So it is cute. But I was hoping like the mothership would come and like there'd be all this stuff, but no. I was just left with this feeling of like, okay, what is going on here?
What is this?
I don't know. It's like a phoenix. I don't know. Maybe he did die, and this is the phoenix rising.
Yeah, but like what? Like it's like a cat and then
a cat and a bird. I don't know what it is. It's weird.
It's a
Cat bird.
baby.
See on the cover. Sometimes the aliens will take that form, just so they don't scare the people that they abduct. But they're really like in the form of like your typical gray, like a typical alien, like with a big head and the big eyes. So, you know, it's pretty.
So
yeah.
cute.
Okay.
They just want to be their friends.
That's it for me. I mean, I have one more after that, but go ahead. It's your turn.
Okay, so Donna, she did the Archies. This is Little Archie. Okay, it's a big difference. But pretty much in this you have like multiple stories, and sometimes you have like word puzzles. I was trying to do one earlier, but this one is about this kid, and Archie's friends have like a little like group, and they don't they only allow certain people, certain worthy people. Okay. And so, like, and then this is what they have to do if you want to be in the, group. You have to go into this haunted house and go up to the balcony and like just wave. But the thing is, it's haunted supposedly. So, they were like, okay, so we're gonna have Reggie and Jughead dress up as a ghost and like go and try to scare him away. And Betty's with them, and she doesn't like this idea, so she writes the kid a note saying what's happening. And so they go in the back. They try to go in the back of it so they can like get up there and like try to scare him. So he reads a note, and then he's like, "Okay, I know what to expect." And then he sees this ghost, which is a real ghost.
Yikes.
And she's like, "Okay, guys." He's
Yikes. Like, oh wait, that's a different cartoon.
And so he's like, okay, so you guys are probably just faking. It's probably like the mirror effect, something, why you just went through the wall, trying to make all these things. And so he tries to go through the wall. And he's wearing his lucky suit, which is like a chicken, just so he can get lucky, I guess. I don't know.
A lucky chicken suit. Who's wearing that? Jughead?
Kid.
Oh, I don't know.
But then they come back and they're like, oh, the door's locked, we can't get in, I don't know what's happening. And so then all of a sudden you hear him like screaming and like waving, just being like, what the heck is happening? And then he gets back down, and then Archie's like, oh, I guess you can come in the group now. Very sarcastically. And then he's like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'll only come if Betty can also be in the group. And then the boys run away. He's like, no. And, then, like, he's like, oh, you're the bravest person ever. And I'm like, thank you. And then
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more. Do you have one more after that too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more quick one because we're kind of running long here, and then you can do yours, and then we'll do our covers of the week. So my next one is one that maybe I shouldn't do because this is a family show. But the girls are teenagers, so it's fine. But this one is called "The Man Who Effed Up Time."
Wait, what's the cover look like? Oh, that's a dinosaur!
Yeah,
That's cool.
this book is hilarious. I think it's great. I love this comic. Um, it is like pretty. It's well written. It's not overcomplicated. Like you never like in one of the earlier comics. I can't remember which one it was. There were like a couple pages where you had dialogue, like internal dialogue, and what the character was speaking, and then what the character was thinking, and it was all jumbled up together, and it was kind of confusing. You don't get that in this comic book. This comic book's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it's about this kid or this guy who's a lab assistant, and there's this scientist who works at this lab who pretty much stole all of the lab assistant's work, and that's why he's become so successful. So the lab assistant's like bummed out. Um, he's pretty depressed about the whole thing, and he has the opportunity to go back in time and try to fix things. And he's very well aware that when you go back in time, if you affect one little thing, it will have massive, like major effects on the entire timeline. And so the comic opens up with this guy running from this like cop type person riding a dinosaur. And he's in this world where everybody wears these tall hats and and they're all like they all look like Abraham Lincoln. And there's dinosaurs and Abraham Lincoln stuff all over the place. Apparently, Abraham Lincoln was not assassinated, and he became king. And then all of his descendants were the kings. And so they, like Abraham Lincolns, have ruled the world this entire time. So it's really funny. It's really well done. And so by the end of it, our lab assistant is visited by the time police, these robots, and they are not happy with the situation. They are like, you obviously effed up time, and so now you have to fix it. If you don't fix it, you're done for. You're in big trouble. But since you caused so much chaos, you got to go fix it.
How did he fix it?
Well, I don't know. That's what we'll have to find out in the next episode, next issue. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like this. This is my favorite comic book of the week so far. Okay, E, do your last one.
This is my last one. It's Archie, and and Archie has multiple stories in it. So I'm gonna be talking about Fit to Be Tidy, which is featuring I forgot I just blanked out his name.
Archie?
Archie's wow.
Wow.
Archie's dad. And so like Archie's room is just like really messy and his dad doesn't like that. So he sees he saw how this like hypnotist like how to like like I've been apparently like it's like a cure for like smoking. He's like, okay, let me try this on my son for cleaning his room. It's great. And so he's like, he tries it on him, and then he waits for him to wake up and stuff, and then Archie automatically goes um and is like the professor in the professor's office. And so he's like, let's put all these books in order the way he wants them to be, like in logical order. And so like he takes all the books out. And he's just, putting them in order how he wants them to. And then he's like, the mom and dad are like, hey, where's Archie? Like, oh, he's been in his room for like 15 minutes now. Let's see what he's doing. And pretty much his room's all clean.
Wow, that's
And
a perfect comic book for you.
yeah. And so then he's like, and then after that, like, he gets more like, oh, look, there's newspapers on the floor, we better pick those up. And then like there's like dust on like the TV, and he had to clean that up and too. And then his dad gets really angry at him. And so he goes and he's like, okay, like I'm just gonna hide from Archie. He calls the like hypnotist to like come back and like get Archie back to when he's like normal, like with this mess and everything. And so that results to that again.
Oh man, yeah, that's about right. That's about right.
Oh.
I can attest to the fact that you guys clean your room, and then a couple hours later, it's usually destroyed. Anyway, okay, so I wanted to go back and before we do our cover of the week, and tell you who the artist was of this Wonder Woman. It's my favorite Wonder Woman cover variant artist. They're awesome. I mean, they're just unbelievable, the work that she does. And her name is Jenny, and her last name is Frison. It's Frison, and you can find her on like Instagram and stuff. She's awesome. She's an awesome artist. But if you get a chance, check her out. Okay, so now we're at our cover pick of the week. And do you want to go first? Obviously, looks like you're going first.
It's a Peanuts one. I love Snoopy and Woodstock.
Woodstock.
Yeah, Woodstock. That's what I said. I love them because they're just cute. I love Charlie Brown and Charlie Brown Seniors. I pretty much grew up with that, and Dad loves it.
Yes,
and
I love Peanuts.
We watch it like for holidays and stuff. I love it, and I just thought that this was so cute.
Cool.
So cute.
All right, and my cover of the week is another Wonder Woman variant, and this artist, I think, this is Ja Lee, and this is Wonder Woman number 753. Check that out. That's pretty cool artwork right there. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I love this. And okay, so those are the cover of the week. Covers of the week. So that's it. Man, it's a long show today. Almost 50 minutes. If I keep talking, we'll hit 50 minutes. You want me to? We'll just kind of hang out and be like, "What's up? What are you doing? How's your day going?"
Good.
Good. Well, how did you like that episode?
I liked it.
It was pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking we should do?
Build a doghouse.
No.
No. We need to make people things.
What I was thinking that we might do this week. I mean, we'll do our normal show, but maybe we should have a live stream this week. I ordered a couple things, a couple comics. Maybe we could have a live stream when they get here and do like a live stream unboxing. Opening, yeah. We won't review. We'll just open.
Open them.
It'll be so much fun. Well, maybe Instagram live stream or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, we would like to thank our special guests, Sonia, our special guest, Eldana, and our special guest, Marty. We would also like to thank Mom for cooking dinner while we're doing our show. And we would like to thank our producer, Abigail Smith, for plugging stuff in and doing other random things behind the computer while we talk. Why don't you come over here and say hi real quick? You only have 45 seconds because we're not going to get into 51 minutes. All right, thanks. Okay, folks, if you like the show, please like and subscribe and share. There should be a subscribe button here, and you will find the last episode here. All right, so we'll see you maybe this midweek sometime. If not, we'll see you next Saturday. Bye.
Bye.